Welcome to the Cincy PostCast. I'm Kevin Wallace, and before we get started with today's episode, I want to tell you about our great friends over at Streetside Brewery, which is the best daggone brewery you're going to find in this city, and one of the breweries that FC Cincinnati thinks you should be going to pregame before FC Cincinnati games. So have fun with that walk, but it is a great bar to go to at any time of the year, frankly, any time of day. A fantastic spot located in the Columbia, Tusculum-ish area of Cincinnati over on the east side. Tons of events going on. And one of my favorite things that they do is a commitment to live music. May 9th, May 10th from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. They will have live music from Josh Ferreira on the 9th and Joe Cowles on the 10th. This is a really cool thing that they are constantly doing. Love all of the events, the special releases, the music, the community that they bring out. It is such a good time. Literally, we talked about it on the last episode. Last time I was out there, we watched an FC Cincinnati game and there was a big birthday party going on. Okay, like it's a good time, good vibes, good people. Absolutely love our friends over at Streetside. So go check them out if you haven't. Thank you for checking them out. And thank you, Streetside, for sponsoring this episode. And on today's episode, well, not a ton of FC Cincinnati news. We do eventually get to some FC Cincinnati news, including an FC Cincinnati legend retiring, hanging up the boots. There's a new hat out there. Now, this wouldn't normally make news for us, but there's a hat that is worth talking about here. And then also a look ahead to this weekend's match. What do we think is going to happen? The team is healthy now. So who on earth are you starting on that back line and on the midfield, or in the midfield, and the outside wing back? So many choices now. Before, this team was a little more makeshift. Now, oh boy, all the options are on the table. What does it look like? Put all of this together and you got yourselves an early May edition of the Cincy PostCast. Joining me to talk about all of that and more, I am joined by the one and only Chief. Chief, what do you know about what I'm going to pronounce as the Hanta virus, and why am I getting some January 2020 vibes again?
Right. So I have a thought on this.
Okay.
Okay. Or question more like, did this sort of thing happen all the time prior to COVID? And we didn't pay attention to this type of story because there wasn't this appreciation of, aha, I've seen the warning signs before. And we're just a little more like on edge about hearing viral outbreak on a cruise ship.
Yeah, my suspicion is that, but continue the thought.
Or does this story only break through now when it's got some COVID vibes to it? Because this has some COVID vibes to it a little bit, right?
It's not great. Like, I don't like that it's like a known disease that's been sort of lurking out there, but there's only one strain that goes human to human, and it's only in Argentina. And we're all learning about this from a cruise ship that left Argentina. Like,
right.
And then, so I was thinking too, going back to 2020, people get sick on a cruise ship. I'm sure that cruise ship is sort of stuck out in the middle of the ocean and nobody's going to let them go anywhere.
Right. This is where I get mad here.
No, they let them off the boat. They're just letting them go around. The British government politely asked them to self-isolate.
Yeah. Why didn't we say that? Like, why didn't somebody say the cruise ship was less than 3 weeks away from a nuclear weapon? That would have solved this problem. Or we can blockade the Strait of Hormuz, but we can't keep people on a cruise ship. How does that, like, what? Why can't we just say they've got oil? Like, that would be keep them. You're not allowed to pass anymore, man. You got to go through the Strait of Hormuz and it's closed. Why is this boat the only boat that seems to be getting places? The boat that keeps gas under $5 a gallon is going nowhere, but apparently the plague ship can dock wherever the hell it wants.
This does make me think that in terms of sort of ranking the tiers of military fighting strength, the entitled vacationer has just vaulted over Iranian Revolutionary Guard soldier,
right?
In the tier
it does
list.
Put things, but it puts things in perspective a little bit. They're like, oh, we have to do this action in Iran because it's a threat to national security. It's like, no, the dude on the cruise ship that decided to go snort rat droppings like it was a line of cocaine. That's the guy we got to worry about. It turns out.
So the disease has what I was reading, a 2 to 3 week lead time or lag time between exposure and symptoms, which is insane. Like, there's not a lot of diseases with an insane thing like that. And then, Chief, the new world variant of this disease, which I'm going to assume the Argentinian one is of this. If I'm wrong, let me know, please. Has a mortality rate approaching 60%. And COVID wreaked havoc on planet Earth with what ultimately was like, what, a 2% mortality rate?
3. Yeah.
Nothing to sneeze at when like the whole world gets it, to be clear. Large numbers are large numbers. 60%, and you don't know for 2 to 3 weeks. What do you do?
So I guess the question, I'm hashtag not a doctor, obviously. Yeah. Can you spread it in the incubation period, or do you have to be symptomatic to spread it? Because that makes a huge difference. If you're just walking around, and it's like, all right, you don't know it, but you're about to have a really bad time in 2 weeks. That's one thing. But if it's you're walking around and everybody that comes into contact with you is also not aware that they're about to have a really bad time in 2 weeks, that's where it becomes bigger. Because I think the whole deal with COVID was that you were contagious, even asymptomatic.
Yeah.
That would be the big one for me in terms of like, do I need to panic about this? Do I need to start stocking up on toilet paper and canned goods again? The other thing that I'm sort of like taking some like, oh my God, it's not going to be as bad.
Yeah.
Is that part of like kind of what kicked everybody's ass with COVID was that it was a novel virus that they had never seen before.
Correct.
And that had never been around. We didn't have anything like that. So we had to like learn about this virus, do all the studying, and then, let's do a vaccine and everything like that. And some people will inject themselves with bleach. Others will take horse dewormer. We all went through some things,
different paths. Yes.
Yeah. There were a lot of, it was a choose your own adventure book with a lot of endings that probably weren't the best ending for the book for people, but you could go there. We all had to deal with the fact that you went there. With this one, at the very least, this is a known and studied virus. This is something they are very aware of. And so I like to think that if this was a true, oh my God, 5 alarm, everything is on fire, that people would be hitting that button now because they know what this virus is all about. And since it's not a 5 alarm, that maybe the people in charge, I'm putting a lot of faith in the people in charge, which tends to go the wrong way lately when you do that.
Yeah. Or dare I ask a terrifying question, Chief? Are they still in charge?
I don't know.
I don't know if the smart ones that we would normally trust are the ones still at the CDC and at the WHO, which we're no longer a member of.
Right. That's our plan now when it comes to who's fighting this. Who?
Who?
Not us.
The other thing,
do more pull-ups in your jeans.
Yeah.
Beef
Not unlike
tallow.
The Ebola virus, where like sometimes the mortality rate is like too high. And if you've ever played like Plague Inc., you can kill your carriers a little too fast before you actually get widespread spread.
Did you ever read the book The Hot Zone back in the day? The Ebola book?
No.
There was the original Ebola book. It's really, really good. Strong recommendation. It's about a outbreak of the Ebola virus that occurs in a testing facility in Reston, Virginia. right outside, conveniently close to where the CIA is, but not quite Langley. So,
Okay.
you can be a connect the dots type person. But there was a primate testing facility in Reston, Virginia, right outside DC. And there was a outbreak of the Ebola virus there. And there was a momentary panic that this was going to turn into a massive pandemic here in America because of all these monkeys that got sick with Ebola. And then the only ad that I have to being a great book, go read it. It's one of the best nonfiction books I've ever read, is that they sterilized the monkey house. They burned it down, and then they built a Taco Bell on top of where it used to be. And I've eaten at that Taco Bell multiple times, which is just perfect. Like,
that's pretty good.
It should be a tourist attraction. The Monkey House Taco Bell.
Oh my God. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to not do something with the land there. I get it.
No, you put a little plaque somewhere. Put a little plaque right by where the fire sauce and the Diablo sauce are. Just on this spot in 1990, whatever.
Oh my God.
Bad time to be taking a flight tomorrow, you think? I'm going down to Texas with a couple of friends for a long weekend.
You're fine. Now, if you're
what are the
on a
odds,
cruise
right?
ship, don't do that. But
you ever been on a cruise ship before?
More times than I care to admit. Yes.
Yeah. It's funny, like when they do these stories about there's a cruise ship that is a plague vessel.
Yeah.
Having been on one cruise in my life and swearing the entire process off for the rest of my life, every time I see that, I'm like, yep, that tracks 100%.
Yeah. I will say, though, depending on exactly where you are, worst places to just be sick. That's got all the food you want, all the drink you want.
There are worse places to be sick. There is no worse place to be healthy when there are other people sick around, though.
That's probably true.
You're done.
Which is to
or
say,
not. Apparently, they let you dock and get off, and everything's going to be all right.
Wild. They hadn't even. So the last thing I had read, which was earlier today, it was published today. They were still doing testing to figure out which strain of this virus they had. So that's cool.
I watched The Hunt for Red October. There are sub-captains that go rogue. All it would take is one guy with some torpedoes to be a patriot and solve this problem. I mean, shit, I'll even take the guy from down Periscope. I'll take William H. Macy at this point, or Kelsey Grammer. Somebody. Just torpedoes at the boat. There'll be like a court martial, but good luck finding a jury that'll convict on that, all right?
That's apparently blowing up boats in the ocean without much supervision or forethought is what we do now, Chief. That's standard operating procedure.
Where are the Somali pirates when you really need them?
Damn, they could have really helped us out here.
They could have done us a solid. All right, so like over under, if you had to bet odds that the MLS season gets canceled again or postponed again, and we have to do another MLS is back tournament at an undisclosed location.
I'm only going like 3%. Okay.
It's still pretty high.
I got
it's not zero.
I think in 2019, I would have said 0%. In 2026, I'm going to give it 3 to 5%.
I'm going to go with 1%.
Okay.
For this reason and this reason, or maybe I'll go 0.5% for this reason and this reason alone. That based on the limited reading I've done about hantavirus, if this is real, there ain't going to be no MLS is back. It's going to be everyone barricading the doorways and shooting anyone that comes near your house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We barely survived as a society, and maybe the jury's still out on that. There's a long tail to this. Again, when the mortality rate was like 2% or 1% or whatever.
Yeah. Well, the good news is, I saw that Moderna is working on an mRNA vaccine for this, or that they have an mRNA vaccine for this. It's a good thing that we don't have a lot of strong takes in society about the effectiveness or the health of using an mRNA vaccine.
Like I said, society barely survived.
Right. You know what the worst part is too? If we have to go into lockdown again, I had my Warzone skills have atrophied significantly in the last 6 years. Like, I'm not going to be good if we have to go back to battle royale gameplay.
That's going to be tough. Although there was some talk on the Discord about an online diplomacy game. So if people are curious about that, I wouldn't be opposed to trying to organize that for the Discord. I'm sure there is a website out there that'll let us do it. It's a 7-player game, and it takes exactly 7 players. You can play it with less, but it is a worse version of the game with less. Play with 7. So if there are 7 people that are diplomacy curious, let's do it. And then, Chief, maybe that's our game for the next lockdown. Could be fun.
Okay. Yeah. Here I was worried about the World Cup break, which, I mean, much people from Argentina coming into the United States, all sit in a close confined area. I'm sure that'll be fine. I was worried about the World Cup break being like no content. We're going to have a lockdown instead. That'll be, really no content there.
That'll be a blast. The good news is nobody can afford the tickets and none of the foreign visitors are coming. So that might actually save us here. It's by having the World Cup.
Have you heard what they're calling this? Speaking of pandemics.
No,
they're calling it blue dot fever, and this is it's a thing to describe when musical artists cancel their tours unexpectedly.
All the open seats on the ticketing app,
on the Ticketmaster app, yeah.
Dude, everything's too expensive, and I feel bad for the artists in some way because streaming has essentially killed the idea of selling music, like to be able to sell a record or sell an album. And so they only make money touring. As far as I understand it, I'm sure the 5 pop artists everybody can name are doing fine on streaming. It's everybody else who's struggling. And so on one level, I hate that. But on the other level, it's like, man, everything's too expensive. Why are we spending that much money to watch, an hour most?
So you're going to the wrong concerts if they're only lasting for an hour.
Okay, Dave Matthews fan,
dude. if I'm gonna spend $130, I may as well get 2.5-3 hours of entertainment out of it.
It's a good point. It's basically jam bands and Taylor Swift are the
that's it.
The concerts that you want to go for.
And even that, I was on a very large group chat with another bunch of other like-minded jam band fans, pointing out a lot of unsold seats. Even at the Dave Matthews tour this summer, a lot of blue dots going on there, when that used to be, even as recently as a year or two ago, at least for pavilion seats, that used to be a pretty hard ticket most places.
Well, you also get it. I know Dave is one of these acts where people will drive in and try to see as many shows when he's in the region, right? And gas prices. You wait till it gets a little closer. You're going to pick one to go to instead of, the 3 shows in the Midwest or whatever. Yeah.
I also didn't realize this. Do you know Ticketmaster doesn't pay the artist until the show happens?
Oh, I did not.
Which means that when they do the pre-sale and you buy the tickets, that's 25,000 seats in an amphitheater where they're just getting a loan for themselves, earning all the money on that. And they don't pay the artist out until the show actually happens.
Of course. And I'm sure the artists are getting some of that, but I'm guessing it's not nearly enough for what Ticketmaster's offering, and Live Nation, and the fact that they all own the venues now and own the promotion companies and
Oh, you'll like this too. I just got a text message from a friend on the subject of the hantavirus.
Yes.
This is just a quote from one of the stories. I like this. 2 Argentine officials investigating the origin of the hantavirus outbreak on the cruise ship that sailed from southern Argentina say the government's leading hypothesis is that a Dutch couple contracted the virus during a bird watching outing in the city of Ushuaia. Well, I don't remember to butcher that. Before boarding, they said the couple had visited a landfill during the bird watching tour where they may have been exposed to rodents carrying the infection. I'm sorry, man. If you go to a landfill as part of a sightseeing tour, you shouldn't get the opportunity to infect more people. You should be left at the landfill. Congratulations. You now become a permanent resident of the place you wanted to go visit.
Why would that be one of the places you visit?
Right. Yeah, just what I've always wanted to do with like a Dutch couple is we're going to visit Argentina. We're going to see all the sites. We're going to go visit a landfill just because, that's just the thing you do.
It's like you're going out of your way to make sure you get like the worst experience of a particular culture.
Right.
Like, I'm sure I've never been to Argentina. I'm sure it's a beautiful country. I hear they have delicious food. They're famous for dancing and music and soccer.
Yeah.
All sounds great. And the one place I know where I can miss all of that, the landfill.
The landfill.
You imagine, hey, come to Cincinnati. You got to swing by Rumpke Mountain.
Mount Rumpke. Yeah, go up there. We'll have guided tours up to Coleraine. They go to Mount Rumpke. You can ski Mount Rumpke, or they have like those. They have one viewing platform at the top of it with those dumb binoculars you have to put a quarter into to look out of. Enjoy the smells and sights of Mount Rumpke on your Visit Cincinnati tour. That's the episode of Jim Day's Day Off from the Reds broadcast they never really showed.
I bet they would if Rumpke was like a big sponsor of the Reds.
Sponsor. Yeah. I don't mind the smell. Oh, on this note, you can cut this if you think this is going a little too hard. So
please
feel free. Yeah.
Okay.
Since the hantavirus, if the hantavirus ends up becoming a global pandemic, and it's all based on a Dutch couple that got this from visiting a landfill in Argentina.
Yeah.
We got to call this the Messi virus, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's all his fault somehow.
This is what we get. This was ultimately what all of MLS's roster machinations were leading up to.
I'll bet if we put Grayson on this, getting in JD Vance's mentions, he can get a certain someone who's leading this country to refer to it as the Messi virus in a press briefing.
The problem with that one is Trump is enamored with Messi and thinks he's one of the most handsome men he's ever met. So
all the more reason to think he's evil.
Chief.
Yes, sir.
I got some other bad news for American society.
Oh my God, it's getting, how is it possibly worse?
Well, there was a official survey that was sent out to the fan base here in Cincinnati for FC Cincinnati, and a milestone was reached, a dark day in this club's history. The PostCast was officially a podcast option you could select as a podcast you follow to get your FC Cincinnati news, which is the first time, marks the very first time, as far as I can tell, that we were included in this survey, which feels good. I just will say we were right next to Offside with Taylor Twellman, which hasn't released an episode since December 2024. So
it's still a better listen than us.
Might get more monthly downloads than us.
Oh, I guarantee you it gets more monthly downloads than we do.
Just people downloading it going, oh, I didn't know Taylor had one. And then 2 episodes in, they go, hang on, this is the wrong season.
Wait, what? No. Why do they keep talking about Chivas USA? This doesn't make any sense.
See, that would be fun. I would love to do a real time, go back in time, MLS podcast as if the weeks were working.
Yeah. Why is he talking about Save the Crew? It's Save the Caps. Doesn't he know this?
Oh my God.
The crew aren't moving. The Caps are moving. So, wow. I don't even know how to react to that. We're official-ish. I mean, they do credential Damon, so it would be kind of disingenuous for them just to pretend we don't exist.
I kind of like the idea of only acknowledging Damon exists.
Damon, yes. We like Damon because he reports real news. You guys just go on the air and just talk about a virus that neither one of you understand and make absurd takes about formations and lineups.
Yeah. So, Damon's not necessarily pretending to be a soccer expert. He's just calling balls and strikes, baby. Yeah. Buzz, we're out there masquerading with the best of them.
That's exactly right. These people are fun. These people are absolute morons. Why would you ever listen to these people?
So
I don't want to know I don't want to know the results of that poll either. I do not want anyone to reach out and tell me what place we came in. If you do that, I will block you. I don't want to know.
I do not want to. The only thing I want to know, and I don't want to know, I only want to know one version of this. I want to know if Offside with Taylor Twellman beats us. I don't want to know that we beat them. I just want somebody to reach out and be like, hey, results are in. You're worse than Taylor Twellman's defunct podcast.
Should we be encouraging people to vote for Offside with Taylor Twellman instead of us? Because that'd be really funny.
Yes.
Okay, if you haven't taken this survey, when they ask what podcast you listen to, I need all the 12s to put down Offside with Taylor Twellman. If they win that poll, if Taylor Twellman wins that poll, they gotta let Taylor know, right? That would be funny as hell.
I think in some way MLS should know, hey, your defunct league-sponsored podcast got fans out there. Why haven't you guys brought this back?
The public yearns for more Offside with Taylor Twellman.
I've just this is going to make people mad who rely on survey data. If you craft a survey that is so bad or has such an obvious mistake, you deserve to have the public punish you by gaming the result more.
Yeah. This is how you end up with things named Bodie McBoatface, right? I think.
Yes. Although I think that's a larger critique of capitalism and society not being prepared for 4chan's outsized influence on the internet. But yes.
This is very accurate. I was trying to find it. So I did, when somebody mentioned that we were involved in this survey or that we were mentioned in this survey, like a true sycophant, I went online to go look at it.
Yeah.
Because I want to see me being mentioned. Yay.
Yeah.
I have a fragile ego and it's really, really not great for my mental health, but it is what it is. I'm trying to find it because I posted it on the Discord.
Oh,
but they had a list. Do you have the list of supporter bars right there?
I do. So
okay, like that was the one where I was like, who made this survey? All right.
So my guess is, and I'll read.
Hold on.
These. Yes.
Reset. What's the read the prompt for the people, and then we will explain why this is kind of wild.
So the prompt is, what is your preferred pregame bar? Now, I think it's a good question to ask.
Very good.
In a FC Cincinnati fan survey. Now, if I ask any FC Cincinnati fan that, I would assume one of two answers. One would be, and the one I would assume would be 80-90% of people would assume, is the bar in Over the Rhine that you would go to, or the West End, although I don't know too many bars over on that side.
Right.
That is your bar. Primarily, I would think the supporters group's bars, but there's lots of other bars. Like Rheingeist isn't an official supporters group bar, but is going to be a very popular pregame spot.
The Pitch, the
Queen City
Radio, yeah.
Even like Finley Market's Beer Garden or any of the establishments there would make sense. But then also all the other bars, the supporters group bars, that would make sense. I would guess 5-10%, maybe a smidge more, might say their neighborhood bar where they might have one and then drive in, which feels bad. Don't do that. Don't do that.
No, what? No. We're not gonna drink shame here. You can have one.
Okay, fair.
And go drive. Yeah.
What I'm saying is don't get loaded
up. Yeah. Don't get loaded up and drive down to the match. Get an Uber. Get a designated driver. Have your Tesla drive itself. Whatever it is you need to do.
Yes.
No, I agree though. Yeah, because I've done that before. Especially for games where I'm getting a little bit of a later start. Yeah, I'll pick one up at the local watering hole while I'm waiting for an Uber to take me down to the game.
Yeah,
guilty as charged.
Fair enough. So I'm gonna read you some of the options here. Now, I got to be honest, Chief. As an uncultured suburban dad at this point, I didn't recognize a fair number of these, so I couldn't even tell you where some of these places are.
And as a person who routinely lies to my general practice, my GP, when they ask how often do you drink, I recognize probably too many of these.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So this was a long list. I don't know. Was this the entirety of the list?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a problem too. There wasn't a second page. It wasn't scrolled up higher. Okay.
Nope.
So we have JT Malley's, Max Pizza Pub Blue Ash, Max Pizza Pub Clifton, Max Pizza Pub Cold Springs, Kentucky.
We're really pushing Max Pizza Pub right here.
Max Pizza Pub, Covington. Name Brand Distilling. O'Brien's Bar and Grill. Skyline Chili, but specifically the Court and Vine Street one. Streetside Brewery.
They do serve beer at the Court and Vine. Okay. Skyline. Yeah.
That's a good qualifier. Is the other one downtown?
The one on 4th. The one on 4th Street.
Okay.
The one on 4th Street also, which, I mean, if you visit that one, there's a non-insignificant chance you will either bump into Grayson or I there during lunch occasionally. But yes, they also serve beer there. The Court and Vine one is
yes.
That's my Skyline. Shout out to Betty Spaghetti, best waitress ever.
Oh, nice. Streetside Brewery gets a mention here. Love that.
Yeah, there we go. Love that for Streetside right there.
The Filson Queen City Kitchen and Bar. I think I'm looking at that.
I've heard of that. I couldn't tell you where it's at though.
Yeah, 1208, and then Warped Wing Brewing Company, Mason.
Good wings.
A Dayton bar, by the way, which maybe you could have included a Dayton bar or two for the folks who maybe watch the games out in Dayton.
Right.
But I don't know if that counts as a pre-game bar then.
I mean, you've never participated in the supporters march from Warped Wing and Mason?
No, it's on my bucket
leaves at
list.
9 leaves at 9 p.m. the day before the game starts. Dickos only.
Isn't it illegal to walk along the side of a highway? So you'd have to like as a track, just charting the path.
If you're traveling, they can't stop you.
If you're traveling carrying your own papers on your own person.
If I am the vessel of the LLC that represents the chief.
Yeah.
And I have a right to travel on this roadway.
Look, I've always said the solution to sovereign citizens is to declare war on their sovereign state. It solves itself right there. So, Chief, of these pregame bars, I also loved that somebody looked up the Max Pizza Pub in Cold Springs is closed. It doesn't exist anymore.
Tough scenes. Yeah.
O'Brien's Bar and Grill, fine spot, sure, but I don't know how many people are pre-gaming there.
Oh, you get a shark class, throw the shark off the rooftop?
Sure. Yeah, that little nonprofit next door loves that, I'm sure.
They do love that, yeah. O'Brien's definitely didn't ruin RP McMurphy's when they bought that. That's definitely not a grudge that I've been holding for over a year and a half.
That's fair.
Of the ones listed, we got to say Street Side. That's yes. If you have to make me vote there, I'm going to vote Street Side. It's a perfectly cromulent place to pregame if you're going to have one and then go to the game, or if you're going to get a DD or an Uber. But I don't know that you're going to want to walk to TQL from there.
Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure on where 1208 JT Malley's in Name Brand Distilling is, but my quick glance, or the Filson Queen City Kitchen and Bar, but my quick glance would make me think that Streetside might be like the second or third closest location on this list to the stadium.
All right, if you were to guess, Kevin,
okay,
how long Apple Maps says it would take to walk from Streetside to TQL Stadium? What are you saying?
Okay, so I would give it 2 hours.
2 hours, 48 minutes.
Oh,
yeah, 6.2 miles. It is 400-foot elevation over the course of the route right here.
That's actually not bad. Basically, once you get up on top of the banks, you're good. If you're gonna do that, you might as well ride the bus, or two, there's got to be a red bike stop somewhere along the route there. So
this is you are on a Goonie adventure going here. I don't know. You're down Riverside, and then we cut up through East McMillan, through Walnut Hills, and then we walk down Gilbert, cross over to Liberty. Yeah, you know.
You wouldn't just take Riverside or Eastern Avenue down to like the banks and then just walk up Race or whatever.
I'm assuming it's done this way for like walking paths, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the sidewalk situation is once you get further down on Riverside. never really come up before. Never seemed to have had the need to see how easy it is to walk from street side to downtown.
There's a pretty good bike path that way, which makes me think you'd be okay as a pedestrian. But I don't know if you're.
I don't think you can walk in a bike path. I think that's a problem.
Yeah. There's a lot of parks along that route too, though.
Yeah.
You'd be okay. I don't know. There you go. There's an option for you, folks.
Well, if you've ever walked from street side to TQL, hit me up, and I would love to have you on as a guest, just to tell me what that experience was like.
Should we organize a tribute to DI march from street side to a game one time?
God, I'm not going to commit to that. That sounds miserable. A long ass walk.
I think it could be really funny.
There's certain things where that would be one of those ones. Like I had a friend when I was in law school where he was at a party one night and he got into an argument. And this was before we had access to, like, you can just look this up on your phones, which, you know, old man here. Yeah. But he got into a fight with someone as to how long it would take to drive from Toledo to Florida. And they were just arguing back and forth. And they bet a non-significant amount of money where the one guy said, no, I can make it to Florida easy in this amount of time. Well, prove it. And they got in a car and just started driving at like 1 a.m. Probably, like we talked about, don't drive after you've had a few. This advice would have been good for them.
Okay, good.
And so they just started driving on a Friday night or a Saturday night, and they kept going until they reached Florida to see how long it would take. And there was a conversation that we were all hanging out with them afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, did one of you like decide that this is a bad idea, that we should have turned back? And the one guy said, oh yeah, no, I was wanting to turn back as soon as we got 20 minutes south, but I didn't want to speak up because I didn't want to lose the bet.
I mean, surely what you got to like Tennessee or Kentucky, you could have seen where it was going, right? Like,
no. He wanted to punch out at Bowling Green. He was, no, we're not. That would be this. This would be one of those things where, hey, this is really funny. This would be really funny content to walk from street side to TQL. And you would get probably to about the high mark on Riverside and think, this is a really shitty idea. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to get a beer and call an Uber the rest of the way.
We say all of this. And yet just last weekend, Grayson ran almost exactly this.
He's an idiot. Oh, sorry.
Speaking of Grayson being an idiot, we also got word via the Discord at a team function this evening as of time of recording. So I don't quite understand what was happening, but it sounds like they got to ask Evan Lara. I'm just gonna put it on person now. I'm just gonna do the worst pronunciation possible now. Evan Loro and Matt Miazga. They asked them who their favorite podcast hosts were from the PostCast. I'm assuming from the PostCast. If it was overall, that would have been a problem. But Chief, they said you were the best of the hosts, which I think makes sense. And they named Grayson the worst because he won't go on camera.
Big if true. Spot the lie. All Grayson has to do is turn the camera on. He can do it.
He could turn it right around.
He's got that ski season money. What is he worried about?
It would be funny to have him come on camera and he's wearing like a really big ski goggle thing that like takes up his whole face.
If he just put ski goggles on, no one would recognize him. No one knew who he was until he put on the mask.
The problem is somebody's already stolen that look and it's Dr. Disrespect, and I think we've canceled him. So I don't know if that's the look we want to be.
So we'll just start referring to Grace as the most respectful man in soccer podcasting.
until he reveals
respectfully. Yeah. It starts every question off with respectfully, please.
Respectfully.
Yeah, we're bringing it back. We can't let some bum weirdo streamer ruin an entire look. I mean,
it's a good point.
Yeah.
I gotta send you this guy.
That mustache was fine when Charlie Chaplin had it. We let one guy ruin it.
I always thought that way about a Kentucky Wildcats basketball coach, Adolph Rupp. as being the guy from Office Space going, he's the one who sucks. Why do I have to change my name?
Yeah. Can't do that anymore. The H-Man kind of ruined that.
Yeah.
Kevin, there's not a lot of real FC Cincinnati news this week, which is why the show sounds the way it does.
Yeah.
I do want to take a special moment to acknowledge the retirement of an FC Cincinnati legend. And that is, we got word this week that FC Cincinnati original, at least MLS original, FC Cincinnati MLS original, FC Cincinnati legend, Kai Kamara, officially called it a career.
Damn.
Retired. And you know what? That means he retired as an FC Cincinnati player, which I think is kind of cool.
That is cool. I wish there was a MLS Hall of Fame that we could induct him as like an FC Cincinnati player. I think that would be fun. He played for, did I see that right? 13 teams, which is the most in MLS history for one player. Once upon a time, I had made a list of who would be the players on different GAM denominations. And I think I even then knew that like Kai Kamara had to be on the $100 bill. Like
the $100 bill. Yeah.
He was the one. And yeah, man, it's a bummer to see him hang it up, because I know like there's tons of teams around the league that could still use, a big bodied hold up striker, but he's what, 41, 42 now? Like, yeah, makes sense.
Just in a league where there wasn't a salary cap, there'd be a place for probably Kai Kamara somewhere. On some
that's
team,
fair.
But
if folks aren't familiar with his story of how he came to the United States, you got to go look that up. He's told that story a couple of times, done some videos on that. Wild. It fled Sierra Leone when he was like 11 or 12, escaped with his sister. As there was gunfire and explosions in the capital city, he escaped, made his way to an American consulate in neighboring country, and eventually got his way out of Africa as a young kid with his sister to Boston in the middle of winter to go live with an aunt. And just wild that kid ended up moving to California with his family and playing the game of soccer. I'm not sure how much he had played back in Africa, but, quickly became a star player in this league, vital player for plenty of teams over the course of his career. Had some really funny moments, had some drama with different teams, and then ultimately going and representing his national team, going back and representing his national team as a refugee. Like, that's cool. That is such a cool story, and always rooting for that guy.
He strikes me as the kind of player that if I was Major League Soccer, that I would move heaven and earth to get involved in MLS broadcasting.
Yeah.
As a studio analyst or as one of their lead analysts on Apple TV. I think, I heard him, he did some broadcasting work with TNT, I want to say, for the Club World Cup.
Yeah.
Last year, I think he missed some FC Cincinnati training to go do studio hits that he had already worked out with the club because he'd made a pre-existing commitment to that. I thought he was fantastic on the broadcast. I thought that, especially for a first timer who hadn't really done this before, but that guy's going to be a rock star in the media world. He understands the game. He understands the league at a level that really, really few players, I think, do.
Yeah.
He's probably the first. I mean, Dax McCarty is up there as well, who I think, I know it's polarizing. I think he calls a really good game for Apple TV. But Dax and Kai, the league needs to get more of these guys who were league lifers into the broadcast booth and into the studio to talk about Major League Soccer and to analyze the game, and to analyze the game from a perspective of someone who played in this league and understands the nuances and, frankly, the differences between how MLS is played and how the game is played around the world. And I think that Kai will be. We had him on the show. He was awesome as an interview guest. Like he was badass. He was funny as hell. Personality. I think he'll be a star if he wants to go that route. I don't know what he wants to do, but if he wants to do that as a career, as a second career, I think he will be an incredible broadcaster.
Yeah, Chief, I'm glad you brought up him being on the show. Yeah, obviously, if you want to go back and listen to that episode, it's a good one. But I will say, like, we've been doing this for a while now. With this is episode 16,000 or whatever, and we've interviewed any number of folks, media folks, players, non-media folks, just like regular folks. Kai Kamara stood out as like a dude who was super easy to talk to, incredibly funny, like rolled with the punches. I want to say there was like a weird scheduling thing where it's like he only had this like tiny little narrow moment in his schedule where he could actually get us in, and it never felt rushed. He was super chill. He was curious about us. Like, not a lot of people are curious. He was like asking us questions, asking us our backgrounds. He's like, yeah, it was cool. Like, I really appreciated his time on the show. Just even in that little window where we got to talk to him, it was awesome.
Yeah, I think that whatever he chooses to do, it'll be cool, and I'll be a fan because I've been a fan of Kai Kamara for a really long time.
Yeah. Speaking of fan favorites, Chief 513 Day comes up. This is making the rounds on the internet. We are getting an FC Cincinnati branded Cincy Hat Collab, the Ted Karras foundation hat community movement. If you've seen any of the hats with Cincy with the 3 stripes or the 3 like claw marks on the end of it, that's what we're referring to there. The Bengals have done some stuff with this. They have them in other colors representing other teams around Cincinnati, although they're always done with a sort of wink wink, nudge nudge, we're not violating any trademarks sort of way. There had already been an orange and blue one out there, but now they're doing an official release with the FCC logo, a little Gary the Lion on the side of it. It's for sale now, which is neat. It's a cool story behind it, and I really appreciated the announcement video of Nick Hagland having a quarterback cadence, his sort of play call that was so specific and unique to Cincinnati. It was so good. Very, very funny. I saw afterwards, Ted was talking to Jeremy Roush from Channel 19, saying that Nick came up with all of that on the spot. that was not prearranged. Nobody wrote that for him. He came up with it. I don't know. Chief, I was not hip to the Cincy Hat story. Were you woke to this story before?
No, it wasn't on my radar. I have a giant head, so I'm not really a hat guy a lot of the time. It's enormous. So most snapbacks and non-fitted hats are not gonna, don't work well with your boy here. So I'm not hip to the hat scene here. So reading about that, figuring out all this and seeing what they were doing and what it was all about. Cool. You know what I love most about it is it's not the stupid hat with the upside down writing, which I just don't understand. If you've seen people wearing that around, I don't get that.
The one hat that I wish I had was it New Era? Did these? They were doing like
the one with the chili bowl on the side of it that was so awful.
Yes, it was literally they heard Cincinnati was famous for chili, and so they were doing like local icons on the side. And it is a bowl of chili, not really how you eat Cincinnati chili, and then it has like a spicy pepper on the side of it. So they very obviously missed whatever it was about.
It was somebody that obviously had Googled Cincinnati and had absolutely no idea what to make of anything that was going on there.
Yeah.
If you want to learn more about the Cincy Hat, I just want to make sure we shout them out there. It's thecincyhat.com.
Yeah.
You can go and you can read about their mission. You can read about their foundation. It's a cool thing. I'm kind of happy that the club's involved with that. I'm kind of happy whenever the club does stuff like this.
Yeah.
That seems to be front facing in terms of giving back and doing cool stuff. And we don't have to do a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We have an official collab with them, which I think is really cool. And I dig that a lot. I will not be wearing one, but I may purchase one as a gift for somebody. Who knows?
Well, there you go.
Yeah, why not?
I saw one comment online that said, "Ugh, I don't really like the design." And I got to be honest with you, the designs are all exactly the same. So I don't know what you were expecting.
Yeah, just say it's not for you.
Yeah,
it's not for me. Like, it's obviously the design is good. A lot of people really like it. It might not be for you.
Yes. It's also true if you were not hip or aware of this, once you see it, you're going to batter mine off yourself. You will see it everywhere now. You will not be able to avoid it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
cop it if you want it.
Yes. So that is a part of the 513 day celebration, which is next Wednesday and when we play Inter Miami. But Chief.
Yes, sir.
There's a game before that one. Can you believe it?
Somehow, some way. Why not?
Let's talk about it in part 2, and then we'll get folks out of here.
Today's episode of the Cincy PostCast is also brought to you by E&L Roofing. Look, I get it. Hearing the words new roof can cause your stress levels to elevate. But when you need a new roof, the folks at E&L Roofing can help make that process easier. Since 2009, they've been serving the greater Cincinnati area and helping to keep everyone safe, dry, and covered, no matter what life brings you. It's springtime storm season, and it's a great time to get your roof checked out. Me, I had the folks from E&L out at my place recently for some work. Honestly, could not have been happier with the result. It even caused my mother-in-law to say, picked out a nice color on that. You know what? It's a win in my book. Plus, if you need siding and gutter work done, they've got you covered there too. And as a special value for our listeners, mention the Cincy PostCast when scheduling your inspection for up to 20% off a replacement roof, replacement siding, or replacement gutters. You can find them on the web and schedule your free inspection at elroofing.com or L Roofing if you're listening to this on Cinco de Mayo. elroofing.com. E&L Roofing, keeping you covered, even if the back three for FC Cincinnati doesn't always.
All right, we are back. Chief, I don't think we've acknowledged we have a new sponsor, which is going to be weird if you're listening to this on Patreon, where you get ad-free episodes, by the way.
But like if you're a real one, go back and after listening to the Patreon episode, download it regularly and listen to the ads. That's how you truly sponsor. They truly help us out.
That would be lovely.
Defeat the purpose of the Patreon completely.
Yeah. Hey, you know that thing you're spending money for? Throw it in the trash. Yeah, but no, shout out to E&L Roofing, who has joined us. If folks are looking for some roofing, siding, gutter stuff, super happy to have them on board. So that was a fun one.
Unrelated to them becoming a sponsor, even before they were a sponsor, they put a new roof on my house because that's a fun expense. That's a fun thing to need as a grown adult with a mortgage. Hey, you know that thing you already pay a lot of money for? But they were awesome. They did really, really good work. They were easy to work with.
Nice.
And as everyone that has unexpected repairs, car repairs, house repairs, or anything, you know it sucks. You know you have to do it. It's part of being an adult. But the only thing that you're asking for is treat me fair, don't screw me, and make this as easy as possible. And they checked all three of those boxes. They could not have been better to work with. Highly, highly recommend that if you are in need of a new roof or siding or need anything like that, I'll give it a personal vouch. They're not just sponsoring the PostCast. I actually think they do really good work. So
boom.
There you go. That's free extra ad space right there.
We'll send them a bill. I'm guessing you did not do this. I've never been bold enough and brave enough to do this, but I've always wanted to, not have something go wrong with my house, but imagine something does or did. I would love to have the handyman come over, the company come over and be like, hey, that
It's all
bill was
good.
pretty expensive. What if I trade you a little bit of advertising space?
Yeah. There was no bargaining. It's like, I don't have the balls to do that.
Yeah.
Like, I know people, but like, hey, I know this roof's gonna be really expensive, but can I offer you ad space on a podcast that dozens of people listen to?
Quite literally 12 people listen to.
Yeah. Just think, if even 10% of our listener base buys a new roof, that's 1.2 new roofs. That's worth it, right?
Yeah. Pays for itself.
I don't have the balls to do that. So,
man, well, fingers crossed nothing goes wrong in my house soon. I don't want to have to test this out. But
right.
Anyway, Chief, FC Cincinnati goes on the road to face Pep BL and the Charlotte FC. This is going to be, I think, a very interesting game for FC Cincinnati, specifically because I want to see who is in the lineup and how this team lines up and how it plays specifically, because all the reporting out of training camp this week is everybody, with the exception of Teenage Davy, is healthy. This includes Kristen Fletcher, who was a player signed this winter.
He's not real.
Allegedly, he is.
That guy doesn't exist. That guy does not exist. There is no Kristen Fletcher. It's not real. Come on.
He's an NFT.
But you're telling me there's a whole ass player that just has been there the entire time that we haven't used? No.
Apparently is a promising youngish attacker. Okay, so
that means he's never playing.
That's a good point. As a kiss of death on this team,
right? Kristen Fletcher is not real. That person is not real.
Kristen Fletcher is not real. He cannot hurt you.
Yeah, no. Yeah, everybody healthy. Everybody back in training. Apparently, nothing gets people back to the away from the side and onto the field quite like youngsters angling for your job. So everybody hustled up and got healthy real quick.
That'll
do it.
I said young-ish because I couldn't remember how old he is.
Like
20 years old. Yeah.
How about that?
That's pretty young.
Why is he on our team? Like, if he's 20 and he's good, why do we have him?
Well, Chief, he was previously with DC United, which might actually explain it. Didn't want to be a part of that dumpster fire anymore. Yeah,
on one hand, it kind of explains it. On the other hand, it's like, well, if DC United didn't, like, they need 20-year-olds that don't suck at soccer, right? I'm assuming.
Probably. So he came up partially through the DC United Academy, but did have a stint in 2023 with Swansea. I almost said Chelsea. With the Swansea Academy. So he's been around the world a little bit, so that's fun.
See, I try to Google Christian Fletcher to figure out some more information about this, and the first thing that pops up is there's a Wikipedia page for Fletcher Christian, who is an English sailor who led the mutiny on the Bounty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was the English sailor who led the mutiny on the Bounty in 1789, during which he seized command of the Royal Navy, the HMS Bounty, from Lieutenant William Bligh.
There you go.
How about that?
Christian Fletcher would also describe, I would say, every European arrow maker in the Middle Ages. So there you go. They would all have been Christian Fletchers.
Fletcher Christian was portrayed by Errol Flynn in 1933's The Wake of the Bounty, Clark Gable in Mutiny on the Bounty, Marlon Brando in a remake of Mutiny on the Bounty, and Mel Gibson in the 1984 film The Bounty.
Oh, wait, that's the last time we've gotten a Mutiny on the Bounty movie? What? We are due.
We're due. They don't make enough sailing ship at sea movies. Like, it's been a minute since we had a movie in this genre.
Chief, I I need to learn how to write a screenplay because I have a movie in my head that I think would be dope as hell. It would be about Commodore Perry and the battle for Lake Erie and the whole don't give up the ship,
Yeah.
thing. There's such a cool story. I think you could tell a really dope as hell story about him and the battle. And I mean, Lake Erie naval warfare with the British,
Yeah.
that's cool.
And you can sell this to Apple. They'll put it on Apple TV with about 10 A-list stars and 50 people will watch it.
Yeah, I'd call it Commodore. That'd be the name of the movie.
Commodore.
I think it's good.
Yeah. I'm into that.
Damn.
More boat movies. That's all I'm saying.
We do need more boat. Master and Commander was
Master and Commander was a great movie. Fantastic.
Pirates of the Caribbean, beloved franchise.
Yeah. First one, phenomenal. Second one, third one, fourth one, take it or leave it.
It does
boat movies
diminish over time, but yeah.
Right. They did kind of keep doing the same thing over and over again a little bit.
Is that the last real boat movie? What's it? Oh yeah.
Grayson would know when the last real boat movie was.
He would.
But the last boat movie that I can think of is Master and Commander.
Yeah. And I mean, have folks heard of the movie Titanic? Has that come up?
That's a boat sinks movie. That's different.
It is different, but I'm counting it as a boat movie. Is
Avatar
Way of Water a boat movie? Hang on.
Do they have boats? This is a good time to bring up. My nephew is obsessed with shipwrecks.
I remember this.
And specifically with the Titanic and the Edmund Fitzgerald. If a boat is sinking, my nephew knows everything about it. It's kind of badass, actually. The only kid in kindergarten or first grade that's listening to the Gordon Lightfoot's The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald on a regular basis.
Our bowling team would put that on at the end of bowling night every night, and people would get so pissed.
Oh yeah, that's a big Touch Tunes favorite right there. Just really clear the bar out.
It's a long song.
Yeah.
So anyway, how about the Charlotte team?
Charlotte, how about Charlotte?
Everybody's healthy. The lineup that has been so effective, the style of play. I mean, I think it has been very aesthetically pleasing. I think we've gotten some of the best work this team has done all year on the ball the last couple of weeks, but it has been because this team was sort of doing what it had to, given who all was out. Everybody's healthy now, including Pavel Buka, who there were some questions about whether or not he'd be out for an extended period of time. Do you think we go back to what this team looked like 3 weeks ago, or is this the new paradigm?
So there are certain things that won't change, I don't think, because of health. And I think the one thing that I feel pretty confident won't change is I think that against all odds, Kenji Mabomedem has won the second striker job. I mean, Tom Barlow has been healthy, Ayub Jabari has been healthy, and Mobedem has been the starting second striker. I think that is without question. Now, the rest of this, it depends, I think, on what sort of pitch counts people are on, what the minutes limits people are on.
Yeah.
How comfortable does the coaching staff feel starting players who have been out for extended amounts of time? Because if there isn't an issue, you would expect Obi would be in line potentially to start in the midfield over Brian Anunga, who's gotten a couple of matches so far. There's also Kyle Smith is out on a red card, so we couldn't keep that same lineup even if we wanted to.
Fair.
I would be willing to bet, if you maybe put money on it right now, that Pavel will not start, that they'll give him a little bit of rest, maybe.
Okay.
I think your back line is going to be some combination of Miles Robinson, Nick Hagland, and Matt Miazga.
We think all three of those guys are right-footed. We don't think Sharilla gets a start at the left center back. in some
maybe
combination of the
maybe
other
at the
three.
left center, maybe at the left center back. But I don't think Geedy will be on the back line.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's done.
Yeah.
And I don't think Dotto will be in the lineup either. I think that will be. I think Geedy will move up to back to the midfield in place of Dotto Valenzuela. I think that's over. I mean, there was a thing in the broadcast. I put it in the Discord, the clip where during, and maybe the results change things. Maybe it's you watch another match and you won, and maybe Pat Noonan changes his mind. But they said in the broadcast, Dax McCarty said, "Hey, when our conversation we had with Pat Noonan before the game, we mentioned how much we like Dotto Valenzuela playing in the midfield, and asked him, do you think this is something that we could see more of in the future?" And Pat's response was, "Not really."
Not really.
Not really. Not really my thing, man.
Damn it, Pat.
Yeah.
It's been so good.
I mean, it has been good, but here's the problem.
Yeah.
Is that unless you are going to commit to a lot of very specific things, there's a shelf life on this. And the one thing that is sort of the two things that you have to commit to, I think, in order to keep Dotto Valenzuela in the lineup from Pat Noonan's point of view, is you have to commit that Pavel Buka is a winger going forward. I think you have to commit to that, and you have to commit to either Sammy Geedy or Obi being out of the lineup, which, they've done that before. They haven't played a lot of Sammy and Obi together, so maybe that is okay. But I think that Pavel being transitioned full-time to a winger is going to be a tough sell, because if you don't do that, then you are looking at a situation where if Evander is a locked on, and you want to put Dotto there, that means that there is only one spot left in the midfield for Geedy, Obi, and Buka. And whoever that person is has to play the midfield destroyer role, or they want that person to play the midfield destroyer role, which means it's probably Buka as the odd person out. And I don't think there's any reality where Pat wants to keep Buka out of the game.
That makes sense. I think you put him at wing back just to make sure he's in there.
Well, I mean, you put him at wing back to keep him in, and because he's looked effective out there, but you have to make a choice. And it's not just a Pat Noonan choice. It's also the player has probably some agency here, where we have seen this in the past. Barreal hated going out to play wingback.
Yeah.
And if you're taking something like Pavel, you got to understand too that your value decreases when you go to wingback. If you are an elite midfielder looking to go back to Europe on a transfer, or if you're looking to go back to Europe on a transfer, your value in your market is going to be bigger as a box-to-box midfielder than it will be as a wingback. If I'm Pavel, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I would not want to play wing. I would not want to go from a box-to-box midfielder to a wingback. I mean, shit, Frankie Amaya didn't want to go from being an attacking mid to a defensive mid for the same reason.
Yeah.
Caused a huge fight in the whole, ended up with him leaving.
Yeah. And
players get mad about this shit. And it's like, that's the sort of thing that we don't think about. It's real easy to play this fantasy soccer thing.
Yeah.
Where you slot a player. Well, we'll put him here. We'll put him here. We'll put him here. If you're Sammy Geedy, you don't want to play center back. You want the money is in being a midfielder. Yeah. If you're Pavel Buka, the money is in being a midfielder. These guys are young guys that are trying to think about their future. It's all well and good to play a couple of games out there, but you don't want to get moved out there permanently.
Yeah, especially, Buka's got a World Cup looking ahead, and he sort of got on his national team's radar playing in that midfield. So it would make sense.
So I don't know.
Stay there. Yeah.
I would love to see him run it back. I would love to see a back line of Miles, Andre, and Geedy.
Yeah.
Or Miles, Andre, and pick your third center back right there, and then Buka out on the wing again, Dotto in the midfield, Obi, Anunga. I think it's the best this team has looked all year. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know that Pat Noonan's got the balls to do it, and I don't know that he has the balls to tell people in the locker room this is just how it's going to be going forward.
Yeah,
I don't even know balls is the right word, because I don't want to be insulting to Pat about that. That's a huge shift. It's one thing to say we're injured and we have to do it.
Yeah.
When everybody's healthy, now it's a choice. And that's when things, I think, get a little more difficult.
Yeah. Oh, man. The other thing is, too, like, can this team swap in players, but still look this effective, still play that style of play that we've seen the last couple of weeks, or the last couple of games, like the last, 2.5 games, right? So it's the second half and then the last 2 games. So yeah, I'd like to see it. Like, it's been a lot of fun. Sure, they're giving up a couple of goals here and there, but it's way more entertaining. I'm having a lot more fun watching these matches. So
yeah, I don't know. But I mean, like, there's also, it's hard to ignore. Ender Echenike has been a healthy AWOL during this stretch. Gilberto Flores has been a healthy AWOL during this stretch. What does this look like? Like, how long do we realistically think that's going to be the case? That we're not going to play Ender Echenike out on the wing, or that we're going to be playing a midfielder as center back when we have healthy center backs. And then once the midfielder isn't playing in place for center back, the midfielder's got to find minutes somewhere.
Yeah. Man, with how poor the defense looked up to this point, I find it hard. All the other changes make sense. The rushing to get all of the center backs back into the lineup kind of makes me sad. Like, that's the one where you'd be like, no, they got it. I understand Miles for Kyle Smith makes perfect sense. Maybe that's all you got to do.
I'd love it, but I don't think there's a reality where Sammy Guidi remains as a center back. Yeah. And then when you do that, then okay, you're bringing on someone that's a worse ball handler and a worse passer. Yeah. And that's where, like, the cascade starts, where it's okay, the good passing we've enjoyed. Well, now it's someone who's not as good of a passer and not as good of a ball handler. Yeah. And then we go to the midfield and it's like, okay, we're going to pull off Dado Valenzuela. We're going to get someone on there who doesn't have that same skill set. Where Pavel, he's been great on the wings. What's he been struggling with all year? Passing. The passing has not been good. Yeah. Putting him out on the wings has hidden that to a certain extent, because the goal in that position is get into dangerous positions, cook people off the dribble. We're not counting on you to be part of the 10 pass sequence buildup that gets us into the attacking third. Yeah. We're going to have Dado do that, and he's a better passer. So there's decisions all around here, and I'll be fascinated to see what they do. Yeah. FC Cincinnati, don't look now, unbeaten in 5 games, coming on a 2-game win streak. Charlotte, for their part, 4 straight losses. They beat NYCFC 2-1 all the way back in, what was that? Feels like January. When was this game? It was April 18th. So maybe not that far back. But they have not won since then. We're looking at some of the last few matches. We'll probably see Wilfred Zaha in MLS, probably. They're a weird team in flux, and we are just ahead of them on the table. They are on 14 points. We are on 15 points. So that's fun. We also haven't beaten them in 3 consecutive matches. Looking at the head-to-heads, they swept the series with us last year, beating us 1-0, and then beating us 1-0 on the road, or here in TQL, and then we lost 2-0 to them. Ouch. And then going back to 2024, the last match in 2024, 3-1 they beat us. 2024 draw, 1-1 in the other match. So we have not beaten Charlotte since 2023. The last 5 matches against Charlotte, we have scored a whopping 2 goals. Yeah. They have been a matchup problem for us for a minute. So yeah, 4-2-2 is the record to Charlotte's advantage, 4 wins. And also, if you want to get pre-mad about something, their goalkeeper Kalina always has the game of the year every time we play them. Like, it seems like this man is prime Petr Cech whenever FC Cincinnati lines up against him.
He really does. He hasn't been as good this year, so that's nice. Um, but you got that. A couple of players to watch, like I mentioned, Pep Biel is one. Wilfred Zaha is certainly one. Ashley Westwood, I think, is vastly underrated in this league. And U.S. men's national team fans will remember Tim Ream is on this team. So,
yeah, people forget last match we played against them, Brian Anugo with a red card. So, stay on the lookout for that.
I'd love to say that like there's a red card conspiracy against FC Cincinnati, but San Diego does exist, and they have more red cards and more games in a row with red cards. So it's us in San Diego, as it always has been.
Yeah. MLS record, if you're counting 11 red cards in a season. I believe the New York Red Bulls set that in 2014.
Okay. We can get there. We got it.
Yeah. Oh, dude, rookie numbers. We can make that happen. Kevin, what's your prediction for this game?
1-1. I'm not confident until I see the lineup. Then I'll feel better like playing Miami and going forward. I'm just a little pessimistic going into this one with everyone being healthy. I want to see what it looks like when all of the players are available.
Yeah. I'm going to say 2-1 Charlotte in this game.
Same idea.
For the same reason is that I got to see that the starters can play, because the starters haven't looked good. And maybe we figured some things out tactically where the starters can play better and look better than they were earlier in the year. Or maybe it's having Kenji Mobadem playing at striker. Maybe that's the talisman. Who knows? But I've been impressed with the replacements. I had not been impressed this year with the starters at any point during the year. So
yeah,
we shall see. I hope it looks good. I hope they all look better. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, until then, Chief, I think that's all we got for the people.
Stay safe. If you see anyone out there that looks like they've got the hantavirus, buy them a Messi jersey and tell them to go away. And fuck Columbus. The Cincy PostCast is a production of The Post Cincy. You can check us out online at thepostcincy.com. You can also follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky, Facebook, and Instagram. Twitter and Blue Sky, though, you'll find we're a little more active than the other places. We're also on YouTube, where you can listen to this episode if you aren't listening to it already. We are also putting up video content semi-regularly, including the Away Days series. We want to give a huge thank you to Jim Trace and the Makers for providing the music for this episode. They are a lovely band, and you can find more information out about them in the description of this episode. And if you happen to enjoy what you just heard, can I please ask that you like us, that you rate us on whatever app you're listening to, and maybe more importantly than all of that, share this episode with a friend. When it comes up at work, you're talking about FC Cincinnati, I say, hey, I listened to an FC Cincinnati podcast. I think you guys will like it. It would really, really help us out. Nothing helps a podcast travel more than a good recommendation from a friend, family member. That would be awesome. When it comes to the sorting algorithms that control our lives, a 5-star review would be much appreciated. Also, leaving a sort of written review weirdly does more than that. That's how the algorithms work. So maybe say a nice or a mean thing, whatever. Just as long as you give us 5 stars, that'll really, really, really help us out. And if you are looking for more MLS content, check out our other podcast, The World's Gam. Again, a link will be in the description of this episode. That is where we touch on
league-wide storylines and news, and we talk about other games and a couple other teams in there as well. I think you will enjoy it if you are just dipping your toes into Major League Soccer. A huge thank you to all of our sponsors. A even bigger thank you to all of our patrons over at Patreon. But maybe most importantly, thank you for listening to this episode.